I'm Paul Majors.
And I'm Diana Pierce. Next on News 11, a teenage boy is charged with murder after 4 of his family members are axed to death in Rochester, Minnesota. The whole town is grieving the loss as residents look to each other to make sense out of the tragedy.
Presidential politics head to St. Paul as the backbiting continues at a Democratic debate. And businesses hope for a boost in sales as thousands invade Cable, Wisconsin for the 16th Birkebeiner Race.
News 11 is next.
Late night, say hello to Cheers.
Afternoon, everybody. No!
There's always plenty of laughs on tap at Cheers.
Say how are you today in French.
How are you today in French?
Thanks for the cold one, Sam.
You're welcome, Fraser.
The beer, I mean, not Diane.
But what kind of place is this?
It's SUBARU, you know. People come here to have a good time.
Yeah, and don't you just hate them for it?
For a nightly shot of comedy, it's Cheers. Weeknights at 10:35 on TV 11.
Peter Nichols used to work in an office 1,600 miles from here. But he left a secure government job in Baltimore for the Rocky Mountains of Colorado. He got a job at a guest ranch and the idea of llamas. Peter says they're great pack animals, and the tourists love them.
Besides, I got tired of carrying the gear myself.
Like most of us, Peter Nichols doesn't make changes easily, but he will when there's a good enough reason.
Molly, Helen!
Recently, Peter and people all across this country made another change to Tom Brokaw and the NBC Nightly News, because Peter says he has confidence in them.
The message broadcast.
And because a change for good reason is a change for the best.
Now, the Twin Cities' most watched newscast, News 11. With Paul Majors, Diana Pierce, Tom Reiter on sports, and meteorologist Paul Douglas.
Good evening. Topping tonight's News 11, police charge a 16-year-old boy with 4 counts of first-degree murder after his family is found axed to death in their Rochester home.
Tonight, there are more questions than answers as police search for a motive.
Police arrested David Brom this morning after they caught up with him at a town post office. He offered no resistance. In court today, Brom listened passively to the charges against him. Now the question is whether to try him as an adult or juvenile. The ordeal happened yesterday in a suburb on the outskirts of Rochester, and the whole town is in shock. We have a team report tonight, beginning with Alan Costantini.
It was Thursday night when Olmsted County Sheriff's deputies found the bodies of 4 members of the Brom family in their Cascade, Minnesota home. Bernard and Paulette Brom and 2 of their children, 14-year-old Diane and 9-year-old Rick, had been murdered with an axe. Today, Olmsted County authorities charged 16-year-old David Brom with 4 counts of first-degree murder. First degree because they have witnesses who say the high school sophomore planned the killings of his family.
I think there were 2 subjects mentioned in the complaint indicating that he talked about killing his parents, or that he had killed them, and his brother and sister.
Still, authorities say they have no motive and mental tests have been ordered.
We're asking that there be a psychiatric evaluation, yes. And we're meeting with the judge on Monday afternoon to discuss who might do that and obtain that order. The defense is joining in that request.
The question Olmsted County authorities must decide now is whether to charge David Brom as a juvenile or as an adult. As a juvenile, if convicted, he would face less than 3 years in confinement. As an adult, he could get life. All of Rochester is in shock over the killings. John Stone has that story.
These are David Brom's Lourdes High School classmates praying at a special mass at St. John's Church, sharing one student's bewilderment that her classmate is suspected of murder.
I feel sorry for everyone, and I basically think that everyone just hurts.
Well, this is obviously the shock phase. It's beginning to set in. There is, in several cases, extreme grief.
The shock has spread well beyond Lourdes High School, beyond St. Pius Elementary, where David's brother and sister went to school before they were killed. All of Rochester is in disbelief.
It's just, you know, a shock to the whole community. Everyone's talking about it, wondering why.
David is described as well-behaved and polite. The boy who'd shovel his neighbor's snow for free, who'd sit in the front row of Father Jack Krog's religion class.
David appeared to be happy, interested.
Lourdes High and St. Pius School remained open today, but much of the community went to church, where clergy helped them deal with the murders. But Lourdes Principal Leahy says at his school, that process could take months. John Stone, News 11, Rochester.
The hearing on whether David Brom will be tried as an adult or juvenile will be held in March.
Tonight, fire investigators say a water heater that fell through the floor caused a blaze that gutted a mobile home in Burnsville. It happened at the Rambush Estates Park this afternoon. When fire crews arrived at the scene, there wasn't much they could do to save the home. The couple who owns it is reportedly vacationing in Mexico. Fire officials urge people living in mobile homes to check to see if their floor is sagging around their water heaters, and if so, shore it up. And a 3-alarm fire that destroyed part of the 800 block of West Lake Street is still under investigation tonight. Federal agents brought in heavy equipment to make the job of collecting evidence easier today. The results of the investigation will be sent to Washington, D.C. for testing, and the team hopes to wrap up their work in a couple of days.
St. Paul police are investigating the death of a 3-month-old girl, and tonight they've got her mother in custody for questioning. Ashley McGuire died in January from swelling of the brain. She also had teeth marks on her body that matched her mother's dental print. Both parents were questioned after the medical examiner's autopsy of the baby was complete. Ashley's mother, who's 18 years old, will be released tomorrow pending a grand jury investigation. Concern over Minnesota Representative Kenneth Klute's conviction for soliciting sex has prompted action by the legislature. Today, the House Rules Committee voted to create a select committee on ethics. It'll develop guidelines and procedures for dealing with misconduct by members of the House. Just yesterday, Klute was granted immunity from charges in a St. Paul prostitution investigation involving St. Paul nightclub owner Earl Montpettit. In a phone interview with News 11 from his Moorhead law office, Klute said he's glad he's no longer the focus of the probe.
I'm relieved, and what can I say? Obviously, who needs somebody watching over their shoulder constantly, but my intent at this point is to help the state as much as possible.
Klute says despite the fact that today's action at the Capitol could mandate his expulsion, he's pleased the committee has been set up.
5 Democratic presidential hopefuls went one-on-one tonight in St. Paul. It's their only debate in Minnesota before next week's caucus. The Republicans canceled their only chance. And as Melissa Young tells us, as tonight's candidates faced off against each other, things got pretty heated.
It was billed as a presidential forum, but it turned into another night of infighting among the Democratic contenders for president. At their only Minnesota debate, 5 of the 6 remaining candidates faced off over the issues and each other.
Governor Dukakis says he'll appoint more tax police, that there's nothing fundamentally wrong with the revenue side of the budget, that a few more IRS auditors won't cure. That's simply not the case.
Since my name was taken in vain, I think I'll respond.
It's all yours.
With the departure of former Governor Babbitt, I'm the only person on this platform that's ever balanced a budget.
Congressman Richard Gephardt was again criticized for waffling on issues.
When Reagan came to office, the budget deficit was right at $1 trillion, and when he leaves, it'll be right at $3 trillion. That's the legacy of the Reagan administration.
Dick, I agree with much that you had to say, but you voted for that 1981 Reagan tax bill that caused this mess.
Tonight's forum wrapped up a long day of campaigning for the candidates. Jesse Jackson made his final campaign swing through the state, speaking to a group of gays and lesbians. Paul Simon, who has said he must do well in Minnesota to keep his campaign going, spoke with local teachers.
The Mike Dukakis presidential campaign?
While campaign staffs continued to work the phones and mailing lists in search of support. There have been no new themes or ideas emerging as the campaign shifts to Minnesota, but with no clear frontrunner among the Democrats, next Tuesday's caucuses here are seen as critical for a candidate trying to build momentum heading into Super Tuesday. Melissa Young, News 11, St. Paul.
And News 11 will have complete coverage with both the winners and losers of the Minnesota caucus on Tuesday night at 10 o'clock.
Metro Mobility is trying to make it easier for the elderly and disabled who want to go to the caucus on Tuesday. The Twin Cities Transportation Service will offer rides to folks for $1. The service usually stops at 6 p.m. but will extend its hours on caucus night. If you want a ride, just call 24 hours in advance. Still to come on News 11, Paul Douglas says we're in for another shot of winter.
Also, Soviet frigates and American warships go head-to-head in the Black Sea.
Western Wisconsin businesses put out the props for the big Birkebeiner ski race.
And in our series Heritage, the Nordic Circle, an artist who's a household name in Denmark.
Save 3 ways at TOUSLEY Ford and TOUSLEY Subaru. It's a gigantic red, white, and blue tag sale through this Monday only. You'll find big discounts on every red tag car and truck. Bigger discounts on all white tag vehicles. Our biggest discounts on every blue tag vehicle. Blue tag Festivas and Subaru Justies are reduced to $55.88. $55.88 for a brand new car. Over 1,000 vehicles tagged. Every car and truck in stock. Follow the searchlight till 10 every night at TOUSLEY Ford and TOUSLEY Subaru, White Bear Lake.
Can't describe how bad it feels.
I've got a sore nose.
It's just the rubbing and the dripping and the sneezing and the wiping and the rubbing and the dripping and the sneezing and the wiping.
Introducing first aid for your nose when it's sore from too much blowing. New Puffs Plus.
Feels like there may be something in there.
There's lotion. I feel it on my fingers.
A lotion.
It's the first tissue with moisturizing lotion. New Puffs Plus.
Well, it saved my nose.
Puffs Plus is much less irritating than my tissue. I've never had an experience where you blow your nose and it feels so good.
New Puffs Plus.
So come to Dayton's 2-day sale. Big savings store-wide. But hurry, it won't last long.
Two-day sale. Big savings. 2 days only at Dayton. Don't miss it.
There's nothing like Pizza Hut pan pizza.
Making it thick, making it fall, making it splash and having it all. Making it heat, making it deep. Sizzle and drizzle, steam and steaming. Making it early, making it late. Pizza Hut, making it great.
The great taste of pan pizza. 2 layers of cheese, lots of toppings, and a chewy crust. It's America's favorite.
Pizza Hut, making it great.
A pilot and 2 passengers are dead tonight after their plane slammed into a shopping mall parking lot in El Paso, Texas. The plane burst into flames upon impact, burning the victims beyond recognition. One victim is believed to be a young child. Flying pieces of burning debris ignited fires in nearby 2 cars. The pilot had earlier reported landing gear problems and was trying to land at El Paso Airport.
A terrorist group warning the U.S. to stay out of Lebanon's affairs released proof today that they're holding Lieutenant Colonel William Higgins hostage. And that story tops Datelines. In Beirut, a handwritten statement and some copies of Higgins' UNID card were handed out to the media. The group calls itself the Organization of the Oppressed of the World. Meanwhile, a mall militiamen continued their search, checking cars in southern Lebanon. The Pentagon today released videotape of Soviet ships bumping 2 American warships in the Black Sea. It happened a week ago. The American ships, according to the Soviets, were sailing within the 12-mile limit. You can see a Soviet frigate bearing down on a U.S. destroyer, and then the bump occurs. Then another Soviet frigate bumps the second American ship twice, surprising the U.S. personnel on board. Both sides have lodged official complaints. And in Standish, Maine, what's billed as the world's largest hot air balloon sailed skyward today. It's called the Supermaine, and the crew members are commercial balloon pilots. The balloon is 210 feet high, 168 feet wide, and holds 2.6 million feet of hot air.
Big balloon.
That could warm things up.
Sure
could. Could warm things up in the backyard. Big changes on the way weather-wise. It was nice while it lasted. Cold fronts over Canada stacked up thicker than DC-9s over O'Hare, and the honeymoon pretty much over now. Temperatures are already plunging in the backyard, and some big changes on the way. Now, you've heard about the European computer models. We've told you about it. A very fast Cray XMP supercomputer run in Reading, England, produces these incredible forecasts out to about 8 to 10 days. They tend to be a little bit better. They use better physics. They are faster supercomputers, and the result tends to be some accuracy out to about 10 days. We are predicting highs Tuesday through Friday, 5 to 15, lows 0 to 10 below. Based on this European model, they're suggesting it is going to turn much colder again beginning Tuesday of next week. Still time to get your weather videos or slides or photos in to Weather Spy, KARE 11, 8811 Olson Memorial Highway. Check out this 22-degree halo and some beautiful sundogs on either side of the sun. Frequently, this portends either snow or rain 12 hours from now. Carol Linneman of Montevideo sent this in, caused by sunlight being refracted, bent by ice crystals up at 25,000 feet. Here's the letter that went along with this. Dear Paul, I took this picture of my wife Cindy and her sister Maureen while hunting for the Winter Carnival medallion. It was very cold with a bitter wind chill. They laid down in a ditch to try to get out of the wind, and I told them not to stay down there for too long or they might freeze stiff as a board and probably wouldn't be found until spring. Now, after hearing that, they struck this pose. I call it Medallion Hunt Casualties. I think it combines fairly well your station's weather spy photographs and Winter Carnival coverage. Thanks to Kevin Aufderhaar of Coon Rapids for that. Gesundheit, yes. I think they're still over there, too, in St. Paul. Just when you think you've seen everything, along comes the 10 o'clock news. We just wanted to share that with you. We're getting some interesting entries. Today's high before the cold front arrived, it got nice, 37 degrees, a low of 24. Just a trace of snowfall. Mostly cloudy, 27 degrees with a northwest wind at 26, making for a wind chill of -5. The humidity 66 and the barometer 29.55. And it's on the rise. From outer space, you can see a couple of things. The storm that produced 7 inches of rain, Apalachicola, Florida, 5 inches in Tallahassee, street flooding in southeastern Louisiana down around New Orleans. That storm passing off well to our south and east. The Santa Ana winds were howling across much of Southern California. Earlier today, winds gusting as high as 50 to 60 miles an hour. This afternoon in Calgary, 54 degrees. They are going to stay on the warm side of this front for at least the next 3 to 4 days. It'll be interesting to see what this unusually warm weather, what effect that has on the Olympics right through next week. I think there will be some serious problems with the outdoor activities. There's the cold front. It whipped up strong winds in western Minnesota. Visibility's dropped down to a quarter mile in the western part of the state. Just a little bit of light snow fell as that cold front went through, and it got kicked up as the winds topped 40 miles an hour. The result, some very low visibilities. Those conditions seem to be improving now. Plenty of cold air bottled up in Canada. A chunk of that is going to come south tomorrow. And already 2 Thief River, 13 Alexandria, 27 in the cities. By morning, temperatures will be in the upper single numbers and low teens, and they really won't go anywhere tomorrow. 19, I think, is optimistic. I think it'll be more like 14 or 15 for a high tomorrow. Then the warm air comes in Sunday with clouds and maybe some light snow. Temperatures probably in the 30s again by Monday before the next cold front that European model is picking up next Tuesday. And behind that front, again, we could be single numbers for highs Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We'll have to watch that. Are you confused? Me too. We'll be back with the 11 hour. Try to make some sense out of all this coming up next.
The Regis Perm Sale, when you're ready for a change. The Regis Perm Sale is on now. You'll save so much, it'll curl your hair. Regis, when you're ready for a change.
Good morning. Well, it's a great day if you're in the traffic.
Introducing the all-new Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme. Once you've driven it, everything else is just traffic.
Tomorrow's the biggest sale day of the year, so I'm practicing getting up early for Slumberland's One Day. Starts tomorrow at 8 a.m. sale. That's the name. Starts tomorrow at 8 a.m. sale. Get there by 8 a.m. for first dibs on some of the lowest prices on mattresses from $49. Sleep sofas as low as $3.99. Lazy Boy chairs from $179. Plus, while they last, this beautiful $39 brass plant stand for only $7. Slumberland's One Day. Starts tomorrow at 8 a.m. sale. Starts tomorrow at 8 a.m.
Think of it as brisk, invigorating, scintillating, bracing. Think of it as cold. It's going to get colder tonight, too. Under mostly clear skies by morning, probably anywhere from 7 to 12 with clearing skies. Cold sunshine tomorrow, 12 to 17 for a high with less wind. Tomorrow night, 7 for a low. And then as the warm air tries to come back in Sunday, 28 degrees, a chance of light snow or flurries, especially northern Minnesota. Gusty winds on Monday up to 33, and then that next cold front arrives. 19 for a high Tuesday, again, possibly upper single numbers and low teens for highs by Wednesday and Thursday with sub-zero lows. Again, the National Weather Service computers can look with some accuracy out to about 5 to 6 days, maybe 7 days. The European models have better physics involved, and quite frankly, Paul and Diana, they pay their physicists and mathematicians better salaries, and they're attracting some of the best minds in the world to Reading, England. And as a result, they have better physics in their computer models, and they can peer out to about 7 to 10 days with some accuracy. We are now hooked into that here at TV 11. As far as I know, we're the only station that has access to that, and we're going to be evaluating it and letting you evaluate it, peaking out to about 7 to 10 days.
All those supercomputers and physics, there's still nothing like licking that finger and walking outside and looking
out
at
the window,
sky.
right?
That's why I'm out here, yeah.
Absolutely.
See
you later there, Chief.
Well, some snow lovers had fun in the outdoors today. In Apple Valley, the snow monkeys put on a show for Minnesota zoo goers. The mother monkeys and their babies tried to make the most of the warm weather before that next snap of winter comes our way.
Still ahead on News 11, an annual Wisconsin event that attracts thousands from around the world starts tomorrow. For
businesses in the area, the Birkebeiner means money.
Enter the world of Chicago's finest on the next Entertainment This Week and see why Oprah thinks the second city is first rate.
If you can succeed here, you can succeed anywhere.
You'll see where today's top comics got their start as we go on stage at Second City and see what Shelley Long was up to long before her job at Cheers. Plus, Siskel and Ebert look back at the days before they met at the movies on the next Entertainment This Week.
Saturday night at 6 on TV 11.
At least once in your life, you owe yourself a car like this.
You gotta go where you wanna go and do what you wanna do with whoever you wanna do it. You gotta go where you wanna go and do what you wanna do with whoever you wanna do it. You gotta go.
See your Mazda dealer in Minnetonka, White Bear, St. Paul, Richfield, and Brooklyn Center.
Highland is having a Moonlight Madness sale with big savings, but it's only for a few short hours. With traffic backed up, I'm getting a jump on everyone.
Get this Hot Point super capacity heavy-duty automatic washer for just $238, Friday and Saturday only, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Highland Superstore's Moonlight Madness sale.
Starting Monday, you can expect some royal headaches if you plan to travel on Highway 12. Construction signs are already posted to warn you. The work will narrow Highway 12 to 2 lanes in each direction during rush hours between Worth Parkway and I-94. The construction won't be completed until 1989. There's a partial solution tonight to post office headaches in St. Paul. A new postal station is operating out of the Food and Fuel on West 7th Street. It's equipped to provide stamps, registered mail, special delivery services, and parcel post. It's to help out those customers affected by the West End Postal Station shutdown. The new station will be open for 60 days.
Skiers from all over the world have invaded Cable, Wisconsin tonight for the 16th running of the world-famous Birkebeiner Race. Eric Olson of our Wisconsin Bureau tells us area businesses have high hopes that the cross-country ski race will bring in big bucks.
It's a great way to get rid of the jitters. Take your skinny skis and slide down some steep slopes. Skiers spent the day warming up for tomorrow's main event, and Mount Telemark warmed up for its weekend rush. Skiers from every corner of the globe have come to Cable.
There are nearly 20,000 people here tonight, 6,000 of them skiers like Tom here who drove up from Milwaukee. Folks who are sliding into town with a whole lot more than just their skinny skis.
They also bring along loads of loot.
Okay, so I'm gonna park it here.
Ski stores everywhere in the area are swamped.
The ski has 3 grooves in the base here.
And what's the purpose for the 3 back there?
It keeps the ski going straight. Most of your weight is
The New Moon Ski Shop is stocked with coats and caps, woolies, and wax.
I do about 3 straight coats of blue glide skate wax, and I do 2.
These skiers hope the right wax will make for some smooth sliding tomorrow. Merchants here are hoping for the same thing. Happy skiers will surely be sliding on back for more. In Cable, Eric Olson, News 11, the Wisconsin Bureau.
Race time is 9 a.m. and News 11 will have complete coverage at 5 and 10 tomorrow. And obviously, we're going to have to replace that string between the tin can here and the one in the cable. Stretched just a little bit too far. Thank you, Eric.
Coming up next in sports, a do-or-die situation for the U.S. Olympic hockey team in Calgary.
And some of the Twins head for the sun and a little spring training.
Oh, we'll get that someday.
Abraham.
Yes, George?
Have you heard about the President's Sale?
Sure, it's at Freeway Ford South and Brookdale Ford North.
That's right. Two of the Twin Cities' largest Ford dealers have teamed up and marked on over $10 million of inventory. Every car and truck is plain talk sale price. Get factory cash rebates up to $1,000. Free option packages. Dealer discounts up to $3,000 on new cars, even more on new trucks. We made a special purchase of fully equipped conversion vans. Sale price from $15,995.
I cannot tell a lie. It's the best President's Sale in town.
That's my line.
Oh, sorry.
The President's Sale on now at Freeway Ford South and Brookdale Ford North.
See the clear difference between this lens and this lens, you should see the difference from in here.
The Pentax AR Coat, now at Benson Optical. This is a breakthrough.
Farmers who switch to Eradicane are getting better grass control. Isn't that right, Gary?
It did an excellent job controlling our grasses. Mainly foxtail is our big grass problem, and we're very happy with Eradicane.
How about you, Ellen?
I watched my neighbor putting on Eradicane with his fertilizer through impregnation, and I tried it, and it just cleaned up my grasses really well.
For better grass control than Dual or Lasso, farmers like you are switching to Eradicane.
Tonight, some members of the World Series champion Twins have already begun their spring workout. Both pitchers and catchers began flexing their arms today during spring training in sunny Orlando, Florida. They'll be joined by the rest of their team bit by bit. The whole team won't be there, though, for another 12 days.
I just would have been a better Little League player. I was terrible.
You're pretty good, though. You're really not bad. You keep saying that, but you're not a bad ball player.
You see me play. What's this guy? We're friends. You don't need to lie to me. Friends don't lie to each other.
When you go for a ball like this, you go...
I know it. I can't even hit a softball. I mean, I was a bad baseball player.
Well, you're not...
He's truly not that good at baseball.
But thanks for being such a swell guy there, big
See
fella.
my nose getting real long there?
Yeah,
All right. Well, although the regular spring training is over a week away, the Twins, that we've been saying, open up today, bringing in a total of 28 pitchers and catchers. And our Steve Carroll was at Tinker Field when things got going early today.
28 pitchers and catchers stretched out today for the Twins' first workout of the year. The players were excited to be back in the field, especially after such a spectacular season in 1987. The 2-hour practice included lots of running and throwing, and of course, signing autographs.
I'm a hanky, so I always have trouble signing this thing.
World Series MVP